Hello everyone, this is John again, and welcome back to my Koine Greek tutoring session. This is going to be part 5 or video 5, and remember, we're using the same material throughout all my tutoring sessions. So we left off on part 4, and we were dealing with cases: accusative, dative, genitive, vocative, and we showed you that certain types of verbs, when interacting with an object, will make that object, when impacting that object, will cause it to be in a particular type of case. And we gave you this example here with the dative. Believing is the key verb here. Abraham believed God. Okay, in Greek, when you're believing in something. Okay, here's a Greek text here. Επίστευσεν δε Αβραάμ το Θεό. So, when you're believing, you have to use the dative case if you're believing in something. And here, Abraham believes in God, and God's in the dative. So, that's very important to know. That is very key. We also went over what? Prepositions, which are the throughs, the tos, the on top ofs. Okay? Those are specific words in Greek, and we're going to go over those in more detail in, later on in this lesson. And we gave the example of the scripture, okay? And your peace shall rest upon it. In Greek, epanapaisete epafton. In order for you to get the vividness of Greek in your mind, I gave you this example here, okay, which pretty much describes, okay, spatially, visually, in your mind, how this Greek here, how this Greek sentence works, and it will aid your understanding. This silver car is a subject, of course, and he's doing the action. Epanapaisete, he rests. This is a middle deponent verb. And the preposition ep is here, okay? And it is symbolized by the position of the two cars, or by the fact that the gray car is resting upon, okay, the yellow. The upon is the key word here. The upon part, the epi. This is the epi that you see here. This is the epi. And then, of course, the object, afton, is the taxi. He's receiving the action. So this verb needs to use a preposition in order to complete its action upon the object. This is very key. That's why prepositions come in Greek. Now, in English, we don't really think about it, but in Greek, it's more vivid. And we went over more vividness of objects too. How when they're struck, they're changed, they're altered, like this target or this ball. And that is, of course, symbolized or recognized in Greek by the fact that they go from their nominative form, their lexical form, to other cases. Remember, 95% of the time, the subject is going to be in what case? The nominative. And the object? Okay, well, its original lexical form, of course, is, or case, is the what? The nominative. But if it's being impacted by a verb, it's going to go into these other cases that I just described: accusative, dative, etc. Now, we're going to go for my Greek formula. And this is going to aid your understanding very much on how to put Greek sentences together. It's kind of like solving mathematical formulas, okay? So there's 6 formulas I'm going to use. Now, first of all, if you're a Greek student and you basically have a 9-week quarter and you're pressed for time and it's difficult to learn all the Greek grammar, this is what you do. If you get homework, for example, and there's Greek texts for you to translate, and there's no scriptural reference, and there's no English to aid you, okay? And you're wondering, gee, how am I going to cheat, right? Well, in order to do this fairly, use the website BibleHub.com, which is what I described. Now, what you do is ask for the document from your professor if you have homework. Maybe it's uploaded on the website. Download it. Okay, take a particular text that you don't know where it belongs and you're having difficulty translating it. Copy a certain section, paste it into Google. Okay, see this? So say for example it's John 1:1 enarchi inologos, but you don't know what it's John 1:1. So you copy, you paste it into Google, you click, and you're like, oh, it's John 1:1. So boom, immediately now you can utilize Bible Hub. Here's Bible Hub, our favorite website. So this is what it'll do for you. Has the Greek text, but go to multi here. And now you have all the different Greek manuscripts available here, which is great, but you also have all the English translations available here. So now, okay, you have the English to help you with your homework and to aid you in creating your own translation for your homework, because that's really what you're supposed to be doing. So, in general though, if you use Bible Suite or BibleHub.com, scroll over each word in the Greek text, okay, it'll be hyperlinked. Now I believe the website here, since I last put my lesson plan together, has changed a little bit. Just go over these tabs here, play around with them, okay, and you're going to see there's all these different benefits here. Also, there is interlineary, which will help you too. See this here? Now here's where it's going to give you hyperlinks. Okay? So you click on logos, for example, logos. Okay, boom. Immediately it's going to give you the Strong's reference and all the different scriptural references. And you click on the Strong's reference, top right hand corner, with the numerical value associated with it. Okay, so it's basically Word 3056 in Strong's, logos, and there you have it. Okay? And if it's being used in text, alright, like in this situation here, and you don't know what case it's in, all you have to do is, again, click on it here, okay, and scroll down and find out, okay, where it's being used. Okay, John 1:1, alright, and it's going to give you the details here. Or what you do is go back, hover over the word, logos word, okay, it's a Strong's word. Okay, this bottom section here, it's going to tell you it's a noun, nominative, masculine, singular. Boom, immediately you got the grammatical details. Do this for all the other words here too. This will aid you in your homework. Okay, so basically, notice how each word, okay, is hyperlinked in blue. Now, the website, I believe, in Bible Suite has this too, which is its mobile phone app. So if you go to BibleSuite.com, okay, this may have this hyperlink situation here for you, where you just look at the word, it's blue, and you hover over it. So you may want to put in, okay, scroll down here in this menu here, okay, a certain passage, go to Greek, click on Greek, alright, scroll down. Okay, it looks like they took out the blue here, but nevertheless, here it is right here. See that? Hover over it, okay, and here's logos again, for example, alright, here's its Strong reference. Okay, here's its morphology, okay, grammatical details, as you can see here. It's all there for you. Okay, so play around with Bible Hub, and its mobile phone version is Bible Suite right here. See that right there? So this will help you. Now let's go over our formula. We will have small separate formulas that will lead you to more comprehensive and all-encompassing ones. So basically, from Formula 1, as you go from Formula 1 to Formula 6, each formula gets a little bit more complicated. Okay? So, each formula is designed to help you solve, let's say, a Greek sentence with certain grammatical elements. And by the time you get to, let's say, formula 4 or 5, okay, or 6, you'll have more grammatical elements incorporated in these formulas, and they'll be more comprehensive. And by the time basically you get to 6, okay, and you learn that, then you'll be able, all by yourself, to put together a Greek sentence and to know Greek syntax and all these other important things. So, take a look at these simple Greek formulas below and notice the syntactical arrangement of the Greek words in the formulas, because this is how their arrangements will look in real sentences. So really, we tackle 2 issues here. Now, here's what I mean. Formula 1, okay? You have a subject plus a verb, okay? Which equals a full subject in action with both Greek subject, the Greek subject, the one doing the action, remember, and the verb, the action itself, working together. For example, εγώ, I, υπάρχω, go. Εγώ, υπάρχω. See that? Now again, you could just say υπάρχω, I go, and we already know it's you, it's I that's going, because this means I go, υπάρχω. Okay? But I just put a personal pronoun in there to highlight the subject in a sentence for you, so you can recognize it. Εγώ υπάρχω. Okay, I go. Boom, you just put together a simple sentence. Alright? Now, if this verb, okay, I'm not teaching you basically how to conjugate into other tenses, because that's extremely easy. All you have to do is get a verb chart and go over them. Okay? And some people, though, have difficulty with that, and I may do a lesson on that too. Formula 2. Okay, let's get a little bit more detail here. You have a verb plus an object. Oh, now we have an object plus a subject, which equals a simple, complete Greek sentence, same as in English. So here it is. Λέγει αυτό Thomas. Λέγει αυτό Thomas. Okay? So, and Thomas says to him. Okay? Thomas says to him. So, what do we have here? We have λέγει. Okay, the verb, plus αυτό, which is what? The object. Why? Because it's a noun, right? It's a personal pronoun from avtos, but it's in the dative. Okay, so that indicates it's an object. Plus Thomas. This is a male word that is in basically the this is a male word that's basically in the nominative. So that indicates that he's what? He's a subject. So, basically, what do we have here? All we have is the same sentence as in Formula 1, right? But now, we have an object. Okay? So, λέγει αυτό Thomas. So this is how this formula idea is now being formulated in your head. So just follow me here. Λέγει plus αυτό plus Thomas equals he says, meaning the action verb of saying, plus to him, the object being spoken to, okay, plus Thomas, who's the subject, and this is what it equals. Think of this again as a mathematical formula. It equals Thomas, okay, plus says, plus to him. There, you got it. You just solved the Greek sentence. Now, the only thing really that you need to do now is arrange it in English syntax. And this is very, very simple, okay? Thomas says to him, right? Now, look at it here. Thomas says to him. See that? Now, above here, actually, what we focus on here in the formula that we, designed, we show you how the English comes out, okay? through this formula system. And the syntax is just like the Greek. This is key here. He says to him, Thomas. That's how the Greek literally translates into English. So this equals, again, Thomas says to him. Thomas plus says, plus to him, which equals basically a regular sentence. Thomas says to him. So how do you then switch from the Greek syntax word arrangement, meaning the word arrangement, to the English? Okay, it's very simple. Take a look at it here. Says, look at the Greek here. Says to him Thomas. In English, just take the subject Thomas and put it at the front of the sentence. See that? So Thomas is here in the front, whereas in Greek, it's usually in the end of the sentence. Okay? Not a big deal. Very simple. Now notice how in Greek the subject goes at the end of the sentence, whereas in English, it's at the beginning. That's usually how it goes. Let's go to Formula 3. You have a verb, plus a preposition, plus an object, plus a subject. Okay? So what's new here? Well, we just had a sentence with a verb, object, and subject, right? Well, now we have one with a preposition. Okay, let's proceed. Formula 3. A verb plus a preposition plus an object plus a subject equals, okay, a more complex Greek sentence than one in Formula 2, because now it has a preposition. That's all. So how do we put this together now? How do we, let's get an example going here. Okay, let's go back to our sentence from before. Επαναπαΐσετε επ' αυτόν η ειρήνη. Well, no, now notice here we have what? An actual subject here mentioned in the sentence. Whereas before, when we use this, all we were saying is επαναπαΐσετε επ' αυτόν. Okay? And how did we, again, note the subject? Well, the verb here. The middle deponent verb here. And again, if you don't readily see a subject in a sentence, like here, but you see an action verb, right? A verb doing an action, an active verb or a middle deponent, all right? Then that's all you need in order to indicate the subject, all right? So, here it is. This is Formula 3 in action here. Επαναπαΐσετε επ' αυτόν η ειρήνη. What is the difference here now? Here it is, the preposition. Now we're dealing with a preposition. Notice the location of the preposition. Okay? It's obviously right next to what? The object, and it's impacting the object, right? It's next to the object because it has to impact the object on behalf of this verb here. Επαναπαΐσετε. Okay? So, and he shall rest upon him. Same concept in English. He shall rest upon him. Look at the word order. So, επαναπαΐσετε plus ep plus, or epi, which is, you know, the real lexical form, but again, this is abbreviated. Okay, plus αυτόν plus η ειρήνη equals. Okay? Now again, this is the English directly translated from the Greek. Equals shall rest, which is the verb, plus on, which is the preposition, which is our new grammatical element we're dealing with plus it, the object, which is again αυτόν, plus peace. See that? Plus peace. Okay? Which is the subject. Which equals peace shall rest on it. See that? Peace shall rest on it. Now, in this case, as we generated the, the English formula, the syntax, okay, doesn't match up with the Greek. Doesn't readily match up with the Greek. Whereas in other scenarios it might, just as we showed you here above in other formulas, like in Formula 1. Okay? But that's okay. Alright? So, what is it going to be? Peace plus shall plus rest plus on plus it. Okay? So basically, what are you saying? Peace shall rest on it. Okay? Which equals, okay, the peace shall rest on it. See that? The P shall rest on it. Okay, so actually focus here on the Greek syntax versus word arrangement with me. Επαναπαΐσετε επ αυτόν ειρήνη. Okay, so the way it actually comes out in English through direct translation is shall rest on it peace. Shall rest on it peace. Okay? Okay, now what do we do here like how we described in Formula 2? This is what I want to point out here. Okay? In order to make this sound, okay, normal, okay? Or to make it sound like English, right? You're going to take again the subject, which is irini, and you're going to put it at the beginning of the sentence. See that? Peace goes down the front in English. Okay? So, yeah, this here, you know, pretty much lines up what I want to say with the Greek syntax. But again, in this type of situation, the only thing that you're going to change here is in the English, you're going to put the subject in the beginning, whereas in Greek, irini is in the end of the sentence. So, basically what it generates is the peace shall rest on it. That's all. In Greek, it's shall rest on it the peace. So that's all. Now, you just dealt with a more complex sentence. Okay? So, now, you dealt with a more complex sentence, okay, and you're beginning in Formula 3, and now you're beginning to understand how Greek syntax works. And it's very, very simple. When you're just basically stating a fact, and there's a verb, like here, a preposition, an object, and a subject, okay? Basically, this is the Greek formula, but to solve it in English, you have to be able to understand English syntax, English word order. And all you do, okay, in order to generate it in English, to make it sound logical, intelligible in English, is in this type of scenario, you're going to put the subject in the beginning. That's it. Okay? Now you're starting to understand Greek syntax. It's not that much different from English. Like here in Formula 2, it was the same situation. Okay? So, for example, he says to him, Thomas. Just put Thomas at the beginning. Thomas says to him. Okay? Formula 1 was pretty easy. I go, ego, pago. That's pretty much the same. Okay? Now, in Greek, though, if you're using all these grammatical elements, which we've used thus far, the subject, okay, here will go in the front with English. Okay? Now, Formula 4. Focus here with me. You have a verb plus a preposition. See that? A preposition plus an object plus a subject plus a possessive pronoun. Possessive pronoun. What are the possessive pronouns? Possessive pronouns are basically the mine's, the yours, the he's or she's. Okay? So this equals now a more complex Greek sentence than the one in Formula 3 because it has a preposition, okay, just like in Formula 3, and a personal pronoun, meaning mine, yours, etc. For example, we're now going to use the same sentence that we used in Formula 3. Now focus here with me. Επαναπαΐσετε επ αυτόν ειρήνη ημών. Okay? So, if you're going to say in Greek, of mine, of yours, okay, a lot of the times, most of the time, that yours, it's not going to be in front of the subject. It's going to be behind it. But there are cases, though, where you can put it in the front, okay? You can say imon irini, all right? That varies to a case-by-case basis. But for the most part, focus here with me, okay? So, this here personal pronoun is the new element, okay, that we're dealing with in a Greek sentence. And it's broadening our understanding of how Greek sentences work, because now we're using more grammatical elements in Greek sentences. So that's the only difference now in Formula 4. It's just like Formula 3, but now it has a personal pronoun at the end. The piece of ours. That's how it comes out. Okay, let's look at it here. Επαναπαΐσετε, here's the formula, plus ep, plus αυτόν, plus ειρήνη, plus ημών, equals, okay, now here's the English, the direct English translation, shall rest, okay, which is the verb, on, which is the preposition, plus it, which is the object, plus peace, which is the subject, plus your, which is the personal pronoun, second person plural genitive case. If you haven't gone over these yet, okay, go over personal pronouns, okay, and understand them in each case. Nominative, dative, accusative, genitive. This is in the genitive case. Okay, here it is. Which equals, okay, peace shall rest on it, yours. Okay, again. Okay, what I'm showing you here is the same thing. Okay, I'm showing you here the same thing as I am here. Here I'm just showing you more of the grammatical details. Here it's just the simple elements. Peace plus shall plus rest plus on plus it plus yours. That's what it equals. Which equals, intelligibly in English, your peace shall rest on it. Your peace shall rest on it. Okay, now notice here, same situation, okay, as in Formula 3. Peace is going to go where? In the beginning. Peace now is in the beginning. Okay, peace shall rest on it, or the peace shall rest on it. But here's the difference now in Formula 4. Alright, in Formula 4, you now have a personal pronoun. This personal pronoun, imon, goes at the beginning. In English, that's all. But as you're going through these, you can pretty much figure out how the English syntax works. Okay, so if you're reading like in King James English, okay, the syntax or the word order will be very similar to that of Greeks. It'll be very similar to that of Greeks. There's not really a big difference at all. So, this is the difference. Imon and Irini go on the front. Okay? Imon and Irini go here. This is Imon, your, and this is Irini, peace. That's it. That's the only difference. The rest stays the same. That's Formula 4. Very simple, right? Now note, Formula 4, as in Formula 3, okay? Note how Formula 4 as in note how Formula 4 is the same as Formula 3. The difference being, of course, the personal pronoun imon that was tacked onto the end, okay, in the Greek. Now we're learning how to form Greek sentences with all the essential elements of Greek grammar. However, the Greek, if he or she hasn't already, the Greek student needs to review Greek personal pronouns, because they too change according to just like nouns and adjectives change. Okay, they are pronouns. It's a noun. Okay, it's a noun, but it's a pronoun. Okay, and the way that they alter in different cases is the same as with regular nouns and adjectives. Just notice the endings again. For example, see this chart below of Greek personal pronouns for all persons. Alright? Just take a quick look here with me. Okay, we have here I, me, εγώ. You, okay, which is the singular. She, he, she, it, αυτός, αυτή, αυτό. Okay? Alright? So it doesn't really show the neuter here or the female, but the female is αυτή and the neuter is αυτό. Okay? Here's the plural, εμείς. Okay? For we. Okay, that's the first person plural. Second person plural, εμείς. You. More, that means I'm talking to a group of people here, not just one person anymore. And then, of course, they. Αυτοί, αυτέ, αυτά. Okay? Afti, male. Afte, the female. Afta, the neuter. Okay? And now, of course, notice how it goes into the different cases. Ego is emu for the genitive, it's emi for the dative, and it's eme and or me, shortened, for the accusative, and so on and so forth. Now, look for the personal pronoun we just went over in Formula 4, your. Okay? And in Greek, of course, it's imon. So, imon is translated as your. Now, let's look at Formula 5, okay? You have now seen the most essential elements of Greek grammar played out in real examples. However, we have not gone over the extra elements of Greek like conjugations. For example, okay, and, okay? I'm sorry, conjunctions. For example, like and of course adjectives, because those are very important elements in a Greek sentence. Conjunctions and adjectives. Here, Formula 5 will demonstrate how these two are used in Greek sentences along with what we've already learned. Here we will focus also on the usual placement of a Greek verb in a sentence. Our conjunction here is for. In Greek it's gar, gamma alpha rho. See that? Which in English is usually placed at the beginning of a sentence. For this and that. In Greek, however, for is placed as the second word in a sentence with a noun, usually with a noun that's usually preceding it, as we shall see here in our example in Formula 5. Okay? So, here it is here. Okay, here's our formula. You're going to have a subject here, okay, noun or pronoun, plus a conjunction, gar, which is what we just described, plus a verb, and plus an object. Very simple here, okay? Which equals a simple Greek sentence with a conjunction, an adjective now, okay? In this case, it's a participle, which is a verbal adjective. It acts as both a verb and as an adjective. Okay, and we'll go over those. Okay, for example, here it is, simple sentence here. Autos, gar, he for, estin, he is, orithis, the one spoken of. Autos plus gar plus estin plus orithis equals. He is the one, okay? He is the one, alright? Which basically, here is the subject, okay? And it's a demonstrative pronoun. This is very key here, okay? Autos is what we're looking at, autos. Okay, so now this equals he, which is the autos we're talking about. He is the one, in other words. That's how it translates. Okay, he's again the subject, but a demonstrative pronoun, meaning this very one. Plus for, see that here? For, which is our conjunction, gar. Okay, plus he is, the verb, okay, which is here, estin, plus the one spoken of, which is an adjectival participle. Here it is, rithis. It's in the aortis passive, okay? So, for he is the one spoken of. This is what it equals, okay? For he is the one spoken of. All we did here, notice here, here's the point, was put for as the second word in the sentence instead of the first. See that? You will see this for gar a lot in Greek. That's it. So for was here before. Okay? Here before. See that? There's for, right? But now, for in English is in the beginning. Very simple. Just rearrange the first two words. Okay? So, that's very simple. That's very straightforward. Okay? And notice how the adjective used was actually a participle, which is a verbal adjective, which is a verb plus an adjective. A participle functions both as a verb and an adjective. Learning their endings are up to the student, and they are like conjugating verbs in different tenses because they are in effect verbs themselves. They are the adjectival forms of Greek verbs. They exist in the present, the aorist and future tenses of Greek. Notice this here. Aorist, okay, present and future tenses of Greek. For example, look at this excerpt below from Louisiana State University's Greek department. And I take this from there. Okay, what do we have here? We're going to take a present active participle. Okay, again, verbal adjective. Present participle active. Okay, this is the present participle active of imi, to be. Each verb, and here's the point, each verb has something called a participle, meaning it takes a new form. It's still a verb, but it also acts as an adjective. Okay, so for example, imi, which is I am, the verb for to be, has its own participle, which is on. On. See that right there? Okay? That's the male form. Okay? The female would be usa, the neuter on. Okay? So it goes into the different cases: genitive, dative, accusative, genitive ondos, dative odi, and so on and so forth. Okay? So that's something brief on participles. Go over that too, because these are used a lot in Greek sentences. This example shows you the verb to be on. Okay? Now, notice the endings that are highlighted in yellow, because these endings you see are all the same standard for all Greek participles in the present, which stem from active verbs only. Note this, which stem from active verbs only. See that right there? From active verbs, not from middle deponent, none of that, only from active. So here it is: on, os, I, a, s, on, si, as. This is the plural here we're looking at. Okay? Alright? Note these. This is just for the male. Again, we're just looking at the male as a quick example here. But these are things that you need to know, though. Okay? Okay, so they're for active verbs only, the ones that end in omega in their lexical form. The same situation would apply for participles that stem from middle deponent and passive verbs too. Okay? This is key also. The same situation would apply for participles that stem from middle deponent and passive verbs too, but again, they have their own endings. These endings are just for active verbs. So, we will see the same above situation apply for participles, whether they stem from active, middle deponent, or passive verbs that are in the aorist and future. Okay? That are in the aorist and future. This is something else here to highlight. These are just extra tidbits I'm giving you. For a complete exhaustive review of Greek participles, you can go to LSU's website here, which is dramata.com, DRAMATA.com. Here it is right here. See that? So go to, on the website, Unit 17, Participles, and download their PowerPoint presentation, which is excellent, and use that. Now, real quick, Formula 6. Here we will go over Greek participles which emphasize the words they are joined with. Okay? This formula below is designed simply for Greek participles and conjunctions, because students tend to get confused as to how they work in a Greek sentence. Okay? That's it. This is all we're dealing with here. Alright? So, notice that the only word in this clause that is not in line with English syntax is the, okay, which is but or however. However, or but, usually begins, okay, usually begins as an English sentence, okay. Oh, I'm sorry, usually begin an English sentence. However, but, okay. In Greek, that is always the second word of a sentence when it needs to be used. So, let's go back to our scripture, Luke 10:6, that we have been working with. Let's focus on the last part, though, after the Greek semicolon that is highlighted, because the rest of the sentence is not necessary for review. Okay? So, again, all we're dealing with here in Formula 6 is, again, it's designed simply for Greek participles and conjunctions. Particles and conjunctions. That's all we're dealing with. Particles and conjunctions. Particles and conjunctions. That's it. So, focus here with me. Okay? Here's our sentence here, but we're going to focus on this last part. We had already gone over Luke 10:6 earlier. The epanapais de epafton irini imon, that sentence. Okay? And your peace shall rest upon it. Okay, so here it is here, what we're looking at. The second clause of that sentence. I the mi ye efimas anakampsi. So let's just focus on I the mi ye. Okay? Alright? So, if not, alright, this is the English now. Focus on the English here. Let's look at the King James. If not, it shall return to you again. So, if not is what we're focusing on here. What we have here, here's the formula. A conditional participle, okay, which is a conditional participle and also conjunction. This is what we're dealing with here. Okay, as you see here, E plus, okay, a conjunction, which is the, plus a particle, which is negative, me, meaning not, and plus a particle, okay, which is yeah. What this equals is a part of a Greek sentence simply where particles, okay, regular and negative, okay, and a conjunction. So this is what you have. It equals a part of a Greek sentence simply with particles and a conjunction. That's it. A regular Greek sentence, okay, or part of a regular Greek sentence that has particles and a conjunction. And what I'm teaching here is how these work, particles and conjunction, in a sentence. That's it. So, for example, because again, people get confused with these, but it's very, very simple here. I, the, mi, ye. Okay? I plus the plus mi, ye. Okay? That's it. Or mi, ye. Here I shortened it here. Okay? What I did was I took the particle that's negative and I placed it with this particle here. See this here? This here, I just shortened it here. I plus the plus mi, ye. Or mi, ye, you can say in Greek. Mi, ye. Which equals if, okay, which is a conditional particle, which is I, okay, plus but, which is a conjunction particle. It acts as both. Now these are the details, okay, of the grammar that we're dealing with. But, which is again the, plus not, okay, plus not, okay, plus not, it's a particle, that's negative, alright, and now to break this down even more, so you understand the last part, which is yeah, okay, yeah, because these really are two words, so that's why I have to break it down here, plus, okay, indeed, okay, or really, what it's doing is it's an emphasizing disjunctive particle. That's what yeah is. It's an emphasizing disjunctive particle. So basically, this is what it equals. If not, okay, that's it. If not, or but if not, okay, because the here can go to the beginning of this sentence here. But remember, in Greek, it's going to be here. So, to make a simple translation, if not, that's it. Or you can put however if not, or but if not, okay? So the but is here, that goes here. The if, okay, is E. See that? The not is here, me. But because it's being emphasized, we're going to use yeah. Okay? It's being emphasized, we use yeah. So it can be me here or me yeah. See that? So, you're looking at this here, in a Greek text, you want to know how this works in English, this goes here in the front. This stays the same, these stay the same. That's how the syntax works, okay, with particles and conjunctions. That's it. So you can go over this again, but this is very important to learn because people get confused. Know how all these work. That's why I put all the grammatical details here. See that? All the grammatical details are here. They've been broken down. Mi, yeah. This is basically the formula here. I plus the plus mi, yeah. Or plus me plus yeah. But the yeah is really going along with the me. That's the point here. Okay? So, what I have here too is some more important information on all of these conjunctions and particles. For I, okay, for the, for me, and for yeah. See that? So go over those because I took the time to know all this for you to better understand how these work. For my formula system, okay, you have to basically need to know all this formula system stuff that I just showed you, formulas 1 through 6, to start working with Greek sentences effectively. This is really the point here. The moment you get down formulas 1 through 6 here, understand how they work, how they operate, understand syntax, the word order, okay? At this point, you're already making Greek sentences. Now, what is your responsibility, though, as a Greek student? Your responsibility is to learn more in-depth grammar. Insofar as is that, for example, with nouns, let's take εγώ, personal pronoun. You have to understand, okay, what its different cases are that it's used in. That part is up to you. The moment you start understanding all the different cases of εγώ and of I in Greek, or of you, see, okay, or αυτός, αυτή, αυτό, he, she, it, all right, then you're going to be able to start working more effectively with Greek, okay, because basically you're going to come across sentences in the future that are more complex, that are using all their cases, or that are using more in-depth grammatical elements of certain Greek words. For example, what if this here, ipago, okay, was in the aorist, okay? Or what if this was in another person? What if this was not the first person singular? What if this is the first person plural? Ipagomen, okay? Now, if you're seeing that in a sentence and you don't know what it is, okay, that's because you haven't gone over the different persons of this verb. Now, if you're seeing this in another tense, okay, and you don't know what it is, that's because you haven't gone over that yet, okay? So, start going over all the different grammatical elements of nouns and of verbs. That's it. Understand, for example, verbs, okay? Remember the active, middle deponent, and passive, and again we'll get into passive verbs, which means something's happening to me. Understand their tenses, conjugate them, okay? You need to know the present tense, the aorist tense, the imperfect, the perfect, and so on and so forth. Alright? Understand all them, memorize them, okay? Understand, of course, for nouns, okay? Here's nouns here, Thomas, αυτό. Understand their different cases, okay? Understand their numbers, okay? Thomas in another sentence could be, you know, plural. Or αυτό in another sentence could be plural, okay? Aftis, it could be in the plural dative. Here it's in the singular dative. It could be in the male singular dative. Aftis, okay? But if you haven't gone over that, you haven't memorized that, you won't be able to recognize it. But the moment you do start going over, all right, all these things that I'm telling you, you then can incorporate my system and start forming Greek sentences for yourself or for your Greek homework or whatever you're doing with Greek, and start understanding Greek and start becoming intelligible for other ancient Greek speakers out there. Let's just say. That's it. So my system will help you start putting it all together. And what my system also telling you to do is to focus on all these elements of grammar, from Formula 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 and to 6. Here I'm telling you to focus on subject and verb. I'm not just telling you the word order, how to put it all together, how to solve it like a mathematical formula. I'm also telling you, too, to focus on these elements and to memorize them, to know them. That's it. Know what verbs are. Know what their tenses are. Know what objects are. Okay? And subjects are, which are nouns. And know what cases they deal with. Okay? Subject, again, is usually most of the time in the nominative. Okay, here, for example, Formula 3. Again, verbs, prepositions. Know what prepositions are. And we're going to go over this in our next lesson more in depth. Okay? And so on and so forth. I'm telling you to focus on the elements of grammar. Okay? To put a sentence together, but I'm also telling you, memorize it. Because if you don't memorize it, okay, then knowing this system here is futile. Because you may know how this all goes together grammatically, syntactically, but to use this in real examples in scripture or in your homework or in your tests, it's futile. Because if you get this type of a sentence, okay, let's say, for example, in Formula 3 in a test, all right, see this here, epanapais epafton irini, all right, great, you know the syntax. You may even know, okay, the tense of this word or the case of some of these nouns, okay? But if you haven't, though, for example, if you haven't, though, studied all of the different tenses of the verb that we're dealing with here, let's take this here, epanapaiseta, which is a middle deponent and in the future. If you don't know what the future is, then it's not going to do you any good. So yeah, you got to go through all the details of grammar, unfortunately, right? But go over the charts that your professor gives you, focus on them, read over them repetitively, and eventually you'll catch on. So this is what lesson 5 is about, and we'll see you in our next lesson. Thank you.